Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and if you're tuning in for the first time and haven't seen one of these incredible unboxing videos, well, we're in part essentially 5 of 6. It's the second box, and it's the middle row that we're going to be doing next. As you can see, there's a wide range of items that these could be, and it's just been super fun to go through and well in advance of them appearing at Heritage in the auctions, sort of take a look at what we have and speculate on some of the value, starting with this Hong Kong or sort of British dependency 1899 trade dollar, and I'm just going to move the camera, adjust it slightly there. Not actually a wildly valuable coin unless it's a better date compared to some of the other ones that we've seen, but I mean, it's a great item and I sell them pretty infrequently. Here we've got a Hawaiian dollar from 1883 in nice shape. That one's really solid, and I've only sold Hawaiian dimes. I've never gotten my hands on a full dollar, but again, the story on these, and I'll repeat it, and I apologize kind of as I go along. I'm basically just verifying all these coins so that we can generate that Schedule 1 and make it drop off. There's a 50% silver. You know, I've sold a good number of these in the past, and that one, you know, they charged to whatever, maybe dollars or francs, or I don't know. I don't think it would have been Austrian shilling, but this collection was mostly assembled post World War II, sort of late 40s, early 50s, from what I've heard. A beautiful 8 reals here from 1924, flashy. That MO standing for Mexico City. Have not seen the Libertad spelled out so clearly like that on these items before, but an early item, and I'd be curious what that came back for a grade. 1866 Maximilian peso. These are also often pretty highly sought after from what I can tell, and this one's in nice condition, so I'm excited to, you know, get that going. And I'll probably go with some level of pace through the remainder of these items. I'm super excited about what they hold, but I do want to show it to you. And I mentioned this on the last video, but it's currently like 1:45 a.m. where I'm at, and I received these late at night. They wanted me to get them to the consignor, which I was super, or to Heritage the next day, just from a security perspective. That's a beautiful 1910 Liberty peso, by the way. I'm not sure. I haven't seen that design before. I'm not sure if it's like wildly rare or just, you know, a better few year type, but it's really impressive, and I love the, you know, it feels like a pattern Mexican coin almost. There's a 2 pesos from 1921. I also have not seen that before, and has some similar, you know, designs and motifs compared. You know, we've got the eagle with the snake in the Mexico City Mint, but it also has a much different feel, the Roman numerals, and then on this side it's toned for a while in these flips, you know, at least 70 years. 2 pesos, 24 grams of pure silver. Super interesting, and I don't know why they have that sort of curious 2 peso denomination here. This is going to be a more familiar, it looks like, 1948 50 pesos. Have seen these guys before, a little bit less, you know, hyper rare or anything, and we'll see what these different designs are. I haven't seen this one before. Nice 1950 5 pesos, but I'm not sure if it's a rarer version. EU Mexico South Railroad. Maybe that is something. Ferro, I think, is iron, so maybe there's something about an iron railroad, and that could be a better item. I wouldn't be shocked. The Hidalgo 1951 is not going to be as, again, wildly expensive. Has an interesting look from being in those flips. There's an interesting one. Malta 1738 2 Scudi Raymond Despuig. Curious about this find. Very old European look. We've had some great success from some of the Maltese items that have come from this collection already, so I think that's an exciting one to have, and it looks like maybe more Malta in the future. There is a 30 Tari from Emmanuel Pinto. Surexit Major, non-Surexit Major, XXX and T. I'm not sure what that all means, but an interesting Jetton type scene depicted on the obverse. Francis Jimenez. Interesting. X de Tejada. That's interesting because it reminds me, that name sounds more maybe Latina or Hispanic, but maybe they also just pronounced it an interesting way. Have not seen that one, and I'll be following it closely. Then an Emmanuel de Rohan, 1796. Looks like it cost 10 at one point, and somebody's written 44 on it. It's got a wild appearance. Hopefully it means it's super rare, or hopefully, I hope the rare one doesn't have something written on it. But old coin, Emmanuel de Rohan, pretty sweet. Augustin, 8 reals. That's interesting. The president of Heritage is called Gregor Rohan. Really nice guy. I wonder if he'll buy that previous one. But this one's a 2-year 8 real type from Augustinus de Providentia. Does that mean like from God or something like that? I'm not sure. It didn't sound like he stood around for too long, so maybe he was removed, deposed, something like that. De Franceschi, 1798, with a big die crack. 30 Tari, also from Malta. Great item. Here, 1849, probably a Norwegian item of Oscar the First. I don't know if it's like Specie or something like that. Still a little bit of luster on there. Very fun. And then a 2 kroner from 1878 is a smaller item that cost $2.25, so 25 cents more than probably the lowest value coin. I would be surprised if we got anything lower value than that British India half rupee, but a nice look for Oscar. Hakon, 1910, 2 kroner as well. Interesting toning for some of these guys. That one didn't come out quite as nice. Sometimes it's like a beautiful look. But hey, it's still a pretty world coin, and they always have those hammers in between the dates. I think it's really fun. Here we've got Costa Rica on my brief flip through, looked like, and that does not appear to be silver, so maybe that is actually even a bit worse than it wouldn't surprise me from a value perspective than the half rupee. But then we've got an early Cuban peso from 1897. I was going to say, I'm not even sure. It says souvenir on there. I don't know what's going on with the surface, but a really early Cuban peso is pretty interesting, because I don't know this type or this design. Hopefully it's hyper rare, or some kind of pattern or something like that. Unfortunate on the surface issue, and maybe it's just regular, but I wouldn't be shocked if that was super good. I wouldn't be shocked if it was kind of medium. This one's a solid one. I doubt that this one would go to grading. Just a nice 1915 Cuban peso. Great item. Nice cabinet tone. Built up over a long time. And then here's a 1936. I want to say that they call these the ABC pesos. 1 peso, República de Cuba. Fun. 1953 is probably the Jose Marti. I once sold a Mint State 65 of these, and this one, honestly, I don't know if it needs some conservation, but it feels like it could kind of get there. So it's a beautiful looking item, and I don't see, maybe unless there's a cleaning underneath, I'm seeing really, really clean fields. So, curious how that one would come back. Right here we've got an 8 reals from 1809. Also been pretty polished up, I would say. Minted in Mexico City. It's the pillar type. But a great continuation of this collection. Here we've got an 1897 Dominican peso. I think that the Dominican pesos are also a little bit better. But that one's pretty worn down, so when I see a really worn coin from this collection, it generally means it's a pretty good item for the type. 1882, the Haitian gourds, problem free, highly sought after as well. It's got l'union fait la force. gives strength. And then Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, clear French connection with the cannons and imagery. Interesting. And then a Honduras 1 peso from 1887. I haven't seen this style before. Maybe that means it's pretty good. 23 grams. Ooh, that is a very pretty sort of Western looking as well design on this side. Central America. Neat. That's probably the Independence Day with the Poseidon tridents reminiscent of a Huron II Litra. And then a Cordoba from Nicaragua. Those can be pretty sharp also from a value perspective. So, nice smattering of crown size Central American silver here. Also some Panamanian items, a 1904, and it looks like in back of it, you know, that's really pretty. Dios la Libertad. To start, and then again, as I said, in the back, this 1934 Panamanian Balboa. Super nice. In good condition. Here we've got a Puerto Rico 1895. That's really nice looking. I feel like the Puerto Rican items, this one's going to be a full peso, which equals 5 Spanish pesetas. I think Spanish-American War was a few years later, and at that point they probably would have switched over to the dollar pretty immediately. But I'm really digging the Central American items here, though it looks like this is going to be our last one. A Salvador 1 peso, also from Central America, 1894. Great pickup. Here's a Dutch Utrecht Riksdaler from 1784. I can't picture what this looks like, but that is beautiful. Really nice condition on it. Hope that there's a little bit of, I hope that that's strike and not that it was ex-jewelry. Great provincial, you know, I trade the Netherlands duets. Here's a Zealand 1792 dollar with a nice horse, and that very much looks like the Utrecht, but this one apparently is from Zealand Mint. Has some nice toning as well. Beautiful. This is certainly not disappointing. We've still got about, I would estimate, 25 or so items left, starting with this Holland Napoleon 1808 50, probably stivers. As you can see, Holland clearly on there. 1824, probably 3 gulden. This one's a large coin. Willem Koning der Nederlanden, 3 gulden. Seems like an early denomination, and really pretty how it, the reflectivity, you know, highlights this mini crest within the main crest. That one could be a guess for, you know, a better performing item. This one, very pretty. I have seen some similar ones. I'm not sure as a conditional rarity where this one would come in at, but a nice Wilhelm II 5 marks. Also, nice 1847. This could be in really nice shape. Ooh, this one's actually a bit more on the clean side. You know, solid silver item, 2.5 gulden. There's some rare dates. I think 1849 is a little bit better on that one. Then we're going to see 1874 with William III, which we know his portrait quite well. And then 1931 Wilhelmina, 2.5 gulden, is probably like a $25 item or so. Still pretty, and it's in nice shape from this collection, but not going to be wild on the value front. 1850, also, you know, we've got a nice mix of the crown size silver here from Europe, 5 francs. These are also likely in that 25 to 50 or 75 range. King Leopold. You know, this one's in nice shape, so it's going to range up maybe even beyond what I just said, but it's probably not in the 500, 750 echelon. Here's an Albert, 20 francs from Belgium, in a bit clean shape, and it looks like there's kind of this mini selection here. That one is not a type that I've seen. 50 francs, 1935. Centenaire des chemins de fer belge, Is found maybe also iron in Dutch. That could be like a better commemorative. I'm not totally sure. But it looks like there's the Brussels exhibition that's being featured there. And then we've got a Leopold. And then it looks like we get to Oldenburg thalers. Last one though here, a 50 franc. I won't spend too much time because I'm too excited to take a look at these 1846 starting. Medium shape, Einthaler, Paul Frederick August. And then here, 1866 is also a thaler that's been worn down pretty fairly. I wonder if there's, maybe it's a better region and, you know, we're seeing some, yeah, I'm curious how well I recognize the Oldenburg portrait on this one. I don't particularly recognize Friedrich August Großherzog von Oldenburg. Nice 5 mark coin. You know, assembling this collection, this is a really nice group of items. And I don't think I spoke too soon necessarily, but it's maybe more than just a really nice group. A little bit of a bend in the planchet, as you can see, but super, super beautiful Carl von Liechtenstein thaler. He's got quite the appearance in terms of his facial structure and how they chose to depict him, but I think it's an awesome item and could be pretty high value. Carl of Lorraine here, 1701. Really like the way that that looks. He's got a better hairline. I don't have a great hairline, so that may be... it's funny compared to the older one, but also has a lot of nice luster. Such an intricate design. Love how the sort of grip on the swords coming through nicely. And then we have the crown with all of its engraving work clearly showing through. A few years later, 1728 here. Very pretty. And see the cross being kind of exalted there on this Wolfgang von Schrattenbach thaler. The next one is von Liechtenstein, 1740. That's a nice shape. It's got a great sort of lustrous look to it. And it's kind of continuing over to both sides. Beautiful. Looks great under the light as well, especially just with its reflectivity. I'm not sure if there's any cleaning there. I wouldn't be surprised if the answer was no. Here we have a Peruvian 8 reals. You can probably tell because it's going to be the Lima MAE mint with the pillar look to it as we come to some of the latter part of essentially 5 out of 6, 2 out of 3, but the middle of this center collection, Ferdinand VII from a few years later. In great shape, also from the Lima Mint. Spanish were minting a ton of coins at their different colonies and had the mint marks as well as the mint masters very prominently displayed. Here's a Republic 8 reals from 1835. Nice shape, and Peru B Peruana. And I see the next one I'm curious about. This says it's a North Peru 8 reals from 1837. What does that mean exactly? I'm not totally sure, because it has a similar design to the previous one. But let's see. Oh, there it just literally says Nor Peruano. And then on this, maybe it'll be like Sud, 1837. But let's see if it says... Oh, that is a distinctly different design. Confédération Firmée pour la Union. And Cusco, República Sud Peruana. So I was right on half of the prediction. But man, that's a fun item. I could see... I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that those are some of the more valuable ones in this group. We've got an 1874 Peruvian Sol. Nice item. Again, probably doesn't hold as much of a candle to the items that we just looked at. And then we've got a China dollar from 1912. I think that that's a more common date. And here we go. Solid item. I'm not sure in terms of the value. because there could be some incredible Chinese stuff. And that was a thing, you know, I'm really hoping, given that there was some chronological continuity, that the first batch of coins was not a bunch of Chinese dollars that cost, you know, $10 70 years ago, because that, you know, batch would probably be worth millions today. Like, I'm not even kidding. Let's not try to think of the possibilities for a coin dealer to have done the consignor wrong. This is gorgeous. Reminds me of a lot of the pattern designs. 5 pesetas of Peru, the female head. I have not seen this style, and it's really, really pretty. I'm a fan. Great look. I think that'll be pretty good value. Just, I haven't seen it before. And then we'll finish up with this Cambodian tikal. Ooh. I know Cambodian stuff can be pretty good, and that looks really, really nice. They often have chickens on their coins. You can see a lot of the Thai lettering. You know, the bot coinage is relatively prevalent and somewhat common on this side of the country, or of the world, but not this stuff. Beautiful item. Great way to conclude today's hunt, and I'll be back with this one in a moment. And then, of course, later, much down the road, you know, follow-up auction final result sort of recap. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to head on over to treasuretown.com and sign up for our email list to stay up to date on everything that's happening, whether it's auction updates, exciting new inventory drops, coin collecting news, or general informational resources. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on another one.